Why should I be embarrassed if I've not had a boyfriend? Like, why is that actually something to be embarrassed about? It's not that deep. I feel like if you're single and you're 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, like you get to a certain age where you're like, am I too old? Like insert number here. You're just like, is this too old to be single? There are so many things that swirl around your head when you're in this like position, because you just start to question like, am I doing something wrong? Like, is it me? Is this normal? Then I've started to blame it on Gen Z. I'm now like, oh, but no, like Gen Z is very, very single. Like Gen Z don't really date. Gen Z aren't really on dating apps. Like I'm just blaming on the generation now. But is it the generation or is it actually just me? Like, am I actually the problem? Am I the problem? Anyway, I feel like this video is for you if you've ever questioned whether or not you're too old to be single, and if you've ever felt like the pressure to have a boyfriend. If you resonate with that, you're in the right place. I don't know whether I look like a milkwoman or a milkmaid or like a sailor even, like with these stripes. Like, this is giving like uniform. This is all secondary school's fault, or high school if you're from America. I think secondary school is so important. Like, I'm so scared for when I have kids because I'm honestly going to put so much pressure on their like secondary school experience. And what I mean is secondary school is so important for like your friendships. Like if you didn't have friendships in primary school, you're going to form them in secondary. Or if you did have friendships in primary, you're going to like nurture them and like make them grow and prosper in secondary school. Like secondary school is so important for forming friendships that you can like carry on into adult life. It's important for your self-esteem. Like your self-esteem can either be built up in secondary or knocked down. Like, you know how there's people that peak in high school? I think it's because their self-esteem and confidence has like been lifted up so much that they don't even know how to act in the real world when they're actually like having to get a job and like live life. But it gets knocked down and then they're like, oh, they peaked. So it can be either built up, your self-esteem and your confidence, or it can be knocked down, which I feel like is a lot of you guys that are watching this video, and definitely me. Like all of my insecurities I can think of, not to be dramatic, but they all started in school. Like I remember I was picked on so badly for like my nose and the way I looked. Like I talked about this a lot in my jealousy video, but I was literally picked on so much, like out of the blue as well. Like I wasn't asking for it. Like I was keeping to myself, being the loner, like socially awkward person that I was, trying to stay by myself, and I'd get picked on like out of the blue. Just, it can go either way, and I feel like secondary is when that time happens. There are some people that have relationships in secondary school, and I feel like that sets them up to feel like relationships are normal and it's not a big deal. Whereas for some of us that haven't had relationships during that time, it's then like a weird thing. Like having a boyfriend to me is just weird. Like I literally don't know what that world is like. So then it's like, okay, then my adulthood is going to be like that as well. Like it sets you up in a weird way. Not just relationships, but also friendships, appearance, insecurities, confidence. Like, do you know what I mean? Like secondary is so important. I actually don't even know what I'm going to do when my kids go to high school or whatever, because I just want them to have a really, like, I just want them to be in a safe place where they're supported. Like they've not got people picking on them for no reason. Like if they want to be socially awkward and antisocial, like leave them alone. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just want them to not be picked on. I'm convinced a major reason why I struggled to have friends at uni is because I think I literally didn't know how to make friends. Like in secondary school, I was, when I say antisocial, I really, really mean it. Like I was having my lunch in the library. Like I was nowhere near the cafeteria or nowhere near like the dining hall. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I was like away in the library. Like I was always by myself. I never like I made a few friends, but I didn't make like friendship groups. So when it came to uni and I had to like start all over again in a new city, in a new town, I literally didn't know how to. Like I feel like a lot of the skills that you develop in secondary, you'll carry it on into your adult life. So if you don't know certain skills, like how to speak to boys or how to have a boyfriend, do you know what I mean? Like that skill set, I didn't even bring it into adulthood. Let me know if this is making sense in the comments, but I feel like I'm onto something. Another thing is being in school, it's literally the land of just social norms and social expectations. It's the time in our lives where we care most about what people think. Like I know as we get older, we kind of let go of it a bit more, and I've definitely let go of it a lot. But back then, like the phase of 14 to 16, I feel like you care so much what other people think of you. Like your life is almost not even your own. Like you're living for other people. The things that you wear, the way that you talk, you do your hair, you wear your makeup, like everything is for other people and not yourself. I was definitely at my most insecure at that time. Like I was talking about this in one of my other videos where I was saying like if you hyperfixate on anything, it's just a sign of insecurity. I feel like the pressure to have a boyfriend, have a partner, whatever it is it all in our heads? Like if I really think about it, because the thing is, if my friend came up to me and was like, oh, you know, I feel like I'm too old, I'm 22, I'm too old, I'm 21. I know for a fact we would all tell our friend it's not a big deal. So that makes me think it's not an issue in the real world, out in conversation when we're speaking to each other, but it's a big deal in our heads. Like, am I putting this pressure on myself? To some extent, I feel like a lot of the problems I have, they aren't real problems. I'm just like thinking, oh, this is what I should be doing. Like, this is what society says I should be doing. It's the expectation. Like, I'm 22, I should have a boyfriend. I should have had one already. When people graduate uni, they automatically think, oh, I have to buy a house now. I have to settle down. But it's like, you don't have to live life in that really traditional tick box way. Like, you can live life outside of the box. That was the most cringiest thing I've ever said in my life. Just because you're living life in a way that doesn't fit the script doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. Okay, that fits better. I prefer that. The thing is, I genuinely start to panic about this because I'm like, what if I'm 23 though? What if I'm 24? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure we all think about it. Like, I see girls on TikTok, they're like, oh, I'm 30, I've never had a boyfriend, and I'm like, that's totally okay. Like, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But like, oh, do you know what I hate about this topic? It makes me question if there's something wrong with me. Like, it makes me think there's, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm sure I'm not, question mark. Am I though? If I'm doing something wrong, I don't even think it's my fault though. My time in secondary, I just didn't have the confidence. I didn't have confidence to carry through from childhood to adulthood. All the confidence I have now, I've formed in adulthood. I didn't have like a confident time in childhood to bring with me. Do you know what I mean? Some people get a nice head start in life with childhood, maybe like little to no bullying, stable family, like mum and dad at home, but we've all had such a complex mix of an upbringing that means we've got different levels of confidence and different ways of working with things as we get older. Okay, like I keep questioning if there's something wrong. Maybe there is something wrong and I'm doing something wrong. I'm not putting myself out there enough. I'm not outgoing enough. I'm not being myself enough, because everyone says that, like, be yourself. But like, maybe I'll get there. Maybe I just need to like work through a few things. Maybe I need to build up more confidence that I didn't have before, and then I'll get there. I should really think about therapy, because these aren't the things I should be posting online, you know. Going back a bit, something I think we should bring up again, insecurity. Maybe I am just insecure. Maybe all of us that question this, oh, is it normal to be single at 18? Is it normal to be single at 25? Like, maybe we're just insecure. We're insecure because we feel like we should be there and we're not. Like, you're only halfway through the race and you feel like you should be more ahead than you are. So then you're like insecure and you're questioning yourself. I don't know what the solution to all of this is. I'm really rambling, but I don't know where I'm going with this. But I just think that like the pressure to have a boyfriend or have a partner exists. Like, that is a real thing. And it's a thing that a lot of us have, no matter what age, from 18 to 30. Like, you can question and be like, why am I still single? Why have I never had a boyfriend? And it's normal to do that. And I don't think it's your fault as well. Anyway, to finish off the video, I'm sure all of us, something I think we can all just agree on, and hopefully we can all agree on, is that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes I don't understand the reason and I'm like, yeah, but why? I'm sure we can all appreciate that, you know, having the struggle of, you know, why am I still single? Arguably is a lot better than having the struggle of like, I'm in a toxic relationship. I'm in a relationship and I don't want to be with them anymore. As much as it's tough and it makes you question yourself and you kind of like blame yourself and am I doing something wrong? I guess that's a little bit better than some other situations. So that's something to bear in mind.